Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we got a game in the Vesteras. It's the Tier 5 Tech Tree European Destroyer. We got Swirsky on the screen here. 95% sure this is the guy I had in the pilot seat in this particular game. I played, obviously you can see we've grown through the Vesteras. I played a lot of games in the ship. Been having a lot of success. I went 9-0 last night. And even though it's kind of middle of the pack, it's got some utility. Okay, so this game, I think this is Warrior's Path, I want to say. Warrior's Path domination mode. We're on the A/C side. Enemies on the B side. This is going to be heavily focused on strategy. In fact, we're going to basically utilize the scoring and the strategy to more or less single-handedly win this game, at least in the second half of the game here. What I want to point out initially, though, is when we're playing these domination mode games, you can see in this particular case, basically my team's going to 6 ship overload B. Take a look at the map. All right, there's 3 points that can there's 3 positions on the map that can generate points on this particular map. One of them is in the east, 2 of them are in the west. Now the ones in the west, we start with one of them, red starts with the other. The ones in the west, that's where 2/3 of the scoring is taking place every 5 seconds when the points are, when the positions on the map, the caps are generating the points. That's where the majority of the points are. So if we're going to overload a side, of course, we would want to overload the side that has the most scoring. But of course, that's not going to be the strategy we're going to be utilizing here. And we'll keep an eye on the map and the game and see how that goes. But we're moving into A here. We're noticing our third player over here, the Destroyer. He's out of here. He's got other plans. That's fine. This is a relatively low tier game, so we're not going to fault these guys too badly. But that doesn't mean we're going to throw up our hands and say, okay, this game is over already. No, we're going to play this side here, see if there's plays to be made, and if there isn't in terms of offensive scoring, we want to be making the plays that are going to slow them down. You can see they're already moving into position to get our A cap here. They got an Omaha and the Destroyer, the Mayhem, who's actually pushed through the cap. He's in between the caps. We got a battleship sitting on the north part of our cap, and then we are in the Vesteras, of course, and we've lost about 10% of our health, give or take. So, not looking good here. Once again, doesn't look like Red's dedicating a lot of resources to the side either. This is just a misread of basic strategy and positioning and everything else. But it is what it is. That's kind of the interesting part of these games, is especially when we got a lot of players that really aren't focused on strategy, you're going to see different deployments basically every game. So we kind of want to be constantly analyzing the situation, evaluating it, and then see what can we do to potentially get a win from a given point in time. So Mayhan's back here. Yeah, I don't know what he was doing. He was parked behind the island. We're taking shots at him. Looks like he's deploying smoke. He's not taking shots at us yet. We will be getting spotted from the Omaha, though, once he is obscured by the smoke here. But I want you to pay attention when we're fighting these ships. This is kind of World of Warships 101, but it's especially important with destroyers. Note, and it's not going to be just this video, if you watch my play in general, you'll see when we're fighting other destroyers like this, we're typically moving away from these ships. It's harder to hit something that's moving away from you than moving towards you, and it's very easy to distinguish a newer player from a more experienced player. And there goes the Mayhem with those torps into the smoke, by the way. Smokes are for disengaging, especially if you think you're under torpedo threat. Even though the U.S. destroyers would want to use them offensively. But getting back to my point, we're typically moving away from ships. Okay, the shells have to travel farther to hit us than our shells have to travel to hit the ships that are moving into us. It gives us better mobility dodging, and we're not closing the distance, which basically increases the enemy's accuracy. So the Omaha is over here by himself. Now he continues to attack a New York who is now running for his life through the eastern part of A. He's seen enough. He's got a light cruiser that's one-shottable from any angle chasing him, and he's getting out of there. So there's the first shot from the Omaha. That's, of course, misplay. Now, I'm not going to fault this guy based on his aim there. I assume he's probably quite new. So he doesn't yet know better. But, of course, we've been spotted for the majority of this opening 4 minutes fighting. We're taking shots because we're not being threatened. We're not getting shot in return. If we are, then we're stopping fire and we're re-evaluating what we can do, but we're getting away with these shots, so we continue to take them, right? So it's on them to defend themselves. Of course, I'm much more afraid of the Omaha than he should be of me in terms of guns. In fact, if he hits me with one or two true shots, well, the game will be pretty much over very quickly. So we got to be very careful here. Once again, we're moving away, and a lot of the time when we're trying to dodge, we'll be going anywhere from somewhat broadside to maybe a 45-degree angle, and then when the shots are pulling or shooting at us, you'll typically see me do a hard turn out, and keep an eye on that as well throughout the rest of this match. We're going to be doing a lot of shot dodging. That's basically how you do it. If you turn in like that, I find that you're much more susceptible to getting hit than when you turn out. So once again, moving away from ships is going to be beneficial for you in general. But why am I moving in towards him? Well, we're looking at the situation while this fight's going on here. We're seeing, okay, we got a 5v2 on B, and our team is unable to press that advantage. This game's huge part of it is numerical advantages, pressing the numerical advantages, swarming the enemy, taking them out. Even if you have to trade a ship or two, if you can win that side, get the cap, then the advantage goes your way. But nevertheless, we're saying to ourselves, okay, well, we got to be aggressive here. Do I want to push into an Omaha? No. Okay, but this game is getting out of hand. We're down 120 points. We're tied in ships, yes, but Red is seemingly pressing their advantage on B. And if, by the way, we lose over here, the game is pretty much over because they have no challenge. Blue doesn't on this side. So we're being very aggressive here, moving into the Omaha, trying to get a quick strike here. We get him for 1,300 there, and if we can get 2 or 3 more shots like that, he'll go down. But you see now that we're close range of this guy, he is slamming us with the damage, and this is existential. So we slam on the brakes slash engine gets knocked out there. We kind of pull out a little bit. Do take him out. We're down to about a third of our health now. Damage con 16 seconds away or whatever it is, or looked like it was 16 seconds, just boosted up there. Whatever it is, this fire isn't going out on its own, so our damage will continue to tick down. Now we're temporarily up on ships here, and I'm seeing the dude spotted there. I think that's the first time we've seen that ship to the south of B. He's now grayed out, but I'm thinking to myself, either that guy's way out of position, which is more likely than not. That's very, very common, although not so much in lower tiers. Typically the ships will be closer in lower tiers, but it's possible he's sitting there, or he's sitting there AFK, which is actually what he's going to be doing. That ship's not playing in this game. That'll allow us a window of opportunity to get into this, but it's a little bit unfortunate for Red's perspective. I think if that ship was participating, they would have a much easier time winning this game. You saw a moment ago the T-61. Now he was saying to himself, oh my god, the game's almost half over. I'm still alive. This is a problem. I got to get out of here. So he killed himself, rushed to Texas. Yeah, I got a couple torpedoes off. Didn't sink the Texas. But that's a bit of an issue here. We do lose a valuable piece there. We are now into the C cap, their home cap. And when we're talking about attacking caps that are under Red control, right now we're pausing their scoring. So every 3 seconds, we're getting, or every 5 seconds, sorry, we're getting 3 points, which is 36 points per minute. They were previously accruing points at the same rate, but now it's been paused. And if we manage to get this, not only are they losing that income, but we will add another 36 points per minute to our team. So it's basically a double whammy if we can ever capture and control bases that the enemy controls previously. Kraken for the Nuremberg with a dev strike, and now we're all alone. Okay, so I'm trying to get some damage here on the Texas, maybe sticking with the fire, but we pull forward to disengage there. We need to get this cap to have any sort of chance whatsoever. Okay, now I'm still not 100% sure at this point that, in fact, I'm not sure at all what that cruiser's doing down there. I'm still playing the game as though he might be approaching from the south at any moment. So we're going to kind of reposition a little bit in between A and C here, get more middle of the map. I don't want to get surprised by him and get whacked close range. Texas is on fire. I think he's trying to heal through it. And then we got the Nuremberg, who's been causing a lot of havoc over there, closing in as well. They do manage to capture B here, so that nullifies basically our A cap, and then we have the C cap, which is not being canceled by another red-controlled cap, so we're getting 36 points per minute. And by the way, we got 6 minutes left on the clock here, so at this point in time, score is still a factor, all right? And this is going to come down to controlling this game via caps, and once again, if we're going to have a chance to win, it's going to have to be more likely than not on score. Even though the Texas is low here, taking a very big risk. Both the Nuremberg and the Texas are in range, and you can see once again a hard turn out. That's number one, to cause more shells to miss us to the right and left, and go, also potentially dodge them by outmaneuvering them. So very, very risky here, but we got to get rid of one of these ships is what I'm thinking. And why is that? Because we're down 200 points. Okay, so to give the score a chance to work here, we got him down. Now we're down less than 100. Of course, this guy can whack me. He needs to just go take full broadside shots, not necessarily broadside, but full salvos, get all three guns. The disadvantage the Nuremberg has is the majority of its firepower is in the rear. So if he's pushing into us, well, he's not fully firing here. And he might be saying to himself, okay, this guy's out trading us. We're knocking guns. We're whittling down his health slowly but surely. He's having a hard time hitting us due to our evasive maneuvers. And we're getting a little bit of chip damage here and there. So all of a sudden he's starting to have some doubts in his mind. He hasn't hit us for a couple minutes here. And, we continue to get him down. It looks like he's got about 4,000 health to me. More health than me on this ship, yes. And once again, if I'm in his position, I just fire all the guns. Make sure we're hitting the ships and take him out that way. Now that we got him on fire, though, he questions everything that he's ever come to know. And you can see we drop spot there. We're now outside of our max firing range. He's slammed on the brakes and he's backing up. He's thinking to himself, okay, this isn't working. Okay, even though he still has the advantage, in my opinion at least. But now we've caused him to question everything. And at this point in time, I'm starting to gain confidence. Okay, maybe that cruiser's not actually playing the game. You would think by now he would be making a play, right? Even the most inept players would probably have a hard time getting that lost for, the better part of 5 minutes. So now I'm starting to think, okay, it's a 1v1. And the Nuremberg backs up here. Now I'm doing math to check the score here. Once again, we're gaining 36 points per minute. And we're only down by just shy of that at this point in time. So I'm saying to myself, okay, we can take the lead here. He's going to have plenty of time to rush me, though, and take me out. So we go ahead and put a preemptive kind of a zoning torp down there, just in case he decides to, gun it and approach us in the most direct line, which is where basically those torps are pointing at. Now I'm content to just sit here, right? Okay, because once again, we will catch up with the score here. And then it becomes a matter of, okay, now have we run the score up high enough where he can no longer actually flip the score? Let's say he comes over here, tries to flip a cap, I run. What kind of a score do we need to win in that situation? Well, it's going to take a minute to capture the base, right? They got to manually get on the base and capture it. And from that point, then they would begin to accumulate their own points, right? So once again, we're talking about a situation where they can get on C or A in this case, doesn't really matter. They need a minute to do that. And then now that the score is basically tied, they need to have more than half the game remaining to, increase the win. So he's got to get over here very quickly, basically. So always factor in, okay, it's going to take a minute to get the base, and then we need to go back to that 36 points accrual per minute. So if our lead is over 36 points and there's a minute left, then we win the game. So I'm recognizing now at this point in time he's basically got to get on the base as quickly as possible. Go ahead and throw some zoning hopes out there. Once again, get ready to move, because I'm now recognizing, okay, if he doesn't get on the base almost immediately, he's not going to have enough time to win by score. He, at that point in time, has to kill me, and I don't want him to be able to sneak up on me and spot me somehow and then shoot me, because that's, at this point in time, he's basically locked himself in there. Once again, he needs a full minute to capture the base, and then now that our lead is basically approaching that 36 points that he would get per minute, there's not enough time to make up that gap. So we've already won on score here. It's incumbent on me not to die, and then we've won the game. Okay, so the Nuremberg needed to push in here. You can't concede the score like this. That's an error on his part. Yeah, I was making him nervous with the gunfight, but he basically needed to kill me when we were shooting him. I was making a very risky play attempting to kill that Texas. And then once we did, I figured we're going to be permanently spotted until one of us dies. So we're going to run and gun and dodge. But he disengaged, allowed us to once again pursue the possibility of winning on score, which of course we pursued with great vigor. And that's how we will I'll win the game here. Now I'm as boneheaded as the next guy, and I'm going to want to shoot this dude and maybe even sink him as well. I'm not going for a Kraken, but I'd like to run up the score a little bit, but we're going to do it properly. I'm not going to just start shooting here. Basically, we're going to wait till he gets range, then we're going to gun forward and shoot as we're going around the island. If we get lucky and that shot that we take kills him, great. But any shot that's returning, it should hopefully either he won't get it off in time because he's not pointing at us, or if he is pointing at us like he is here, he shoots to lead us here, but we will be blocked by that island, right? And you'll see the shot hit. If we get hit here and die, then we look like complete idiots and we've thrown the game. But luckily we did that properly and we won on score. So hopefully that gives you guys some insight into how to think about these matches where we're trying to win on score in kind of a more complex manner at the end there. If you guys did enjoy it, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave below. Love to hear from you, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.